Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and good evenings. Okay, I think better we can start now. Okay, today already week 4. Our topic is literature review. So today we need to learn about the metrics or database. This is really important. Once you've done read, for example, you done read one article journal, you need to record whatever you read from the article journal. So most of important things or facts from that article, you need to record in specifically. Okay, so that's why I'm called also this template is a master list. Okay, the benefit is if you done read one article journals, and then you have done also to record all the facts related on your research process, and that we can refer this master list in order to write sentence and one paragraph. Okay, we will explain and go through one by one. Hopefully, if you have questions, please ask in the chat area, or you can directly ask the question. Okay, and one more important thing also, please ask and please use our WhatsApp group. If you want to ask the question, please directly anytime. Okay, I will try to respond your question on the specifically, but please ask on the specifically what is actually you are not understand. Don't make general questions. Okay, please specific. If you not clear in the slide or the video for the week 1, which part I need to ask specifically, is better to me and assist you and support you in on that question. Okay, hopefully everyone will be clear on our reason why I make merge everyone in the WhatsApp group. So we have flexible platform if you want to ask questions. Okay, we start with number 1 is about for the materials profile. Okay, number 1 is about material profile. Make bigger. Okay. Okay, once you have one article journal, let's say you have one article journal, number 1 is actually code and coding. So coding is flexible, and when you print out or you use a soft copy on your article, you need to code that article, so easy to find. So the example, maybe you need to code maybe based on the name. This is a flexible, not necessary to follow whatever I'm suggest. Yeah, you can change whatever the coding on your article. Okay, so this one, for example, article number 1, okay, 001. So because some article they have what we call that category. So they have the research articles, we have the conceptual articles, we have literature review articles, general review articles, short communication articles. So you need to command that article. If the 01 is number 1 is for the research article. So if you read the conceptual article, maybe you need to coding 02. So this is actually depends on your system, how you want to control and monitoring whatever the article you have. Okay, as the student PhD, if you ask me how many articles you need to read, so my experience, I read more and thousands articles. For PhD student, it's not just read to 10, 20 articles, not enough. We need to read more and more and more. So let's say you read one article journal per day, in 1 year, 365 article journal. So if you read in the 3 years, how many article journal? So this is a very basic. For me, during my study, I read a lot of the article journal. The problem is once I read the article journal, I forget many things because I'm not record. So that's a really important. Once you done read one article journal, please record. So that's why I call it a master list. Okay. So if after we go to the process and done in this template, I believe that everyone should be clear and we know that the benefit of this template. So why, as the researcher, need do this? It's not just only for the master PhD student. If you work as a researcher, if you work as lecturer, You work in the R&D industry, you need do the same thing also. Okay, all right. Okay, okay, wait, okay. Okay, number one is code. Number two is authors. Let's say the article name is Chul Wool Park. Okay, so it depends. If you want to write for example, authors, we have one authors and two authors. We have 3, 4, 5, many authors. So in this case, if the first author, you can write what we call that, the second name or the surname. For example, my name is Nurul Fazli Habidin. I just list here Habidin only. But it depends. Okay, make sure if you have follow one style, should be consistent. Okay, so this is an author, I just follow whatever I'm cite. For example, Habidin 2017. So I split because authors and year I need to split because so easy to, if you want to sort, do a sorting. For example, this one, if you have more, let's say you have 100 key in record, so easy to us to sort. For example, sort to new, sort to old, so easy to us to know that if I want to read the latest 5 years back journal, so I can sorting the year. Okay, you can sort by author by, for example, during A to Z. So that's why this database, this Excel, I need to split coding, authors, year. Okay, next country. So you should be know that this study from where. For example, this one from South Korea. So need to you key into South Korea. So this is really important also. Also, that article you read is actually based on what industry or sector. Because this subject is business research method, we are not educations. Okay. So if you are background in education, I think that you join the wrong class. So our class is based on a business research method. So we need to focus more on the industry. Okay. There's another one. Okay. I think this one is more important because you want to know that, oh, this article study with which country and regarding year and author also. Okay. So this is number one based on the material profile. We call that material profile. Okay. Second is a information material. Okay. Information material. Okay. All right, have one question though. How to recognize the journal type? Any tip to recognize that, sir? So the first thing first is experience. First experience. If you read the article journal, how many? Okay, for example, Musi, how many articles you have done? Read. 1, 2, 3, 10, 20, 30, 50?
15, sir.
15. 1-5 or 5-0?
1-5.
1-5. Okay, 1-5. Okay, maybe you can find that. For example, that article journal have complete process, which is they have introductions, literature review, research methodology, meaning that research methodology, they are discussed on their data collections. So next, they analyze the data, and then they have come up the finding. Then suddenly they are discussed on the discussion part. Last one is about the conclusion. If you find that article, we call that research article. We call that a research article. That's number one. Because this article have complete. They have mentioned about methodology. They have mentioned about the data collection. They have mentioned about population and sampling. They have analyzed the data. They are reporting their finding and result, and then they discuss how that this finding reflect on their research objective, and they conclude for that article. That we call that research article. Okay. Research article. Number one is conceptual. Conceptual meaning that they don't have the data collection and analyze. From introductions, literature review, and then propose a framework. Propose conceptual framework. They are propose a model. They are propose conceptual framework, propose model, that we call that conceptual. Same like your proposal defense. Okay, once you go to the proposal defense, you need to complete chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3. So you no need to calculate, you no need to collect the data. If you ask me, for proposal defense, we need do pilot study or not? If you ask me, no. After proposal defense, then you go to your pilot study. You can proposal defense and during semester 1. If you ask me, can I present a proposal defect in semester 1? Yes. When? After you done this subject. Okay, you have done this semester during the semester break. Before you register semester 2, you can propose the defense. Okay, in the semester 1. You can also present during in semester 2. Okay, but in this subject, this requirement. And that's why you can see from our database, we have 14 semester, 15 semester, because you're senior, not complete in this class. If you not complete in this class, we call that incomplete. Okay, so you cannot to be graduate for PhD because you don't complete in this subject business research method. Okay, this is business research method is just based on your commitment. Yeah, you participate in our class and complete the assignment. That's it. Just complete. It doesn't matter it's perfect. Doesn't matter it's 100% complete. But because I looking for the progress, I looking at the progress. Okay, that the second point is a second paper is we call that conceptual paper. Okay, number 3 is literature review. We call that literature review articles. Number 1, research article. Number 2 is conceptual article. Number 3, we call that literature review article. Okay, literature review article. Nowadays, the popular type of the literature review article is SLR, systematic literature review. You can easy to find that article because the title maybe it's not maybe mostly they are right. The title is systematic literature review on something like that. So systematic literature review by category literature review articles. Number 4 is general review. Number 4 is general review. General review is meaning that the article you read is based on the general knowledge. Just only review. No data, no analyze, no framework, no SLR. Just review and review and review and review. That we call that general review. So this 4 is very basic types of the article: research article, conceptual, literature review, and general review. Okay, Musi, for what we call that introducing part for categories or type of the articles. Okay, and Musi can find also, let's say you read the article journal from the Science Direct. Okay, from the Science Direct, if you're looking at the articles, I think that in the area of the abstract, you can find that they highlight review, research, original. Okay, original article also same like research articles. Some article it's not all a publisher. So mostly in the article you can find. Okay, so this is reason why in this class business research method in the week 1 I show you the how to find good thesis. Okay, because I don't want you to search using Google's. Okay, the last option to be researcher, you use the Google's. So as researcher, PhD student, master student, please don't use Google search. These are the last options. Okay, if you want, okay, this is because you are a student from the business. Okay, please respond in the chat area. Okay, please mention me the best publisher publish the article. Who the publisher? Who the best publisher? You go to the library. Who the best publisher? For example, you go to Science Direct. You need to go to the Science Direct and then do the advanced search in Science Direct. Okay, today I need to explore in advanced search Science Direct. Number 1. Okay, next, tomorrow I go to the Emerald. I search my keywords topic in Emeralds. That's the purpose of the researcher way. We don't use Google search. Google search we can use after you've done all the database of the article journal. So that's why I'm quite worried as the PhD student in UPSI. When you go to the proposal defense, the quality citation is not represent on the researcher values. So I can see that. So from your reference, this is not quality article. This is not quality article. Okay. Okay, somehow in your proposal defense, we open the emerald and then we search your topic. We find not just only one, not just only 10, 100 related article in your topic in emerald. So you spend 2 years to prepare your proposal. Okay, you find the article journal, but you do the wrong technique. Please make sure that some lecturer is not happy regarding on your article collections. Article collection. You can go to all the library. You can go to library in Malaysia and all the countries which the publisher that we can access. This is another, when you talk about the business and management, Science Direct, Emerald, Taylor and Francis, Springer, Wiley, Sage, in the Science. These are the top publisher. You should be assessed in this publisher and database first before you use the Google search. And then if you want to find a very good thesis, that's why we discuss which the top database, Ethos. Okay, this is Ethos, the best. They have your 1,000, 100,000 thesis from the UK. Okay, you need to refer good thesis from the best university. That is most important. Okay, thank you for your question, Mursi. Okay, all right. So for the information material, that's why I put here publisher and database. Oh, we know that, oh, this article from Chio Wu Park is from the Emeralds. So your supervisor also happy. Oh, you refer very good articles. Okay, this material is about the journal, thesis, report, or website. You need to, oh, we know that this article is from journal. So we have the journal article. Somehow you read a book, research methodology book. Somehow you read a report. Somehow you read a thesis. That's why you need to record, you need to mention here, these are from thesis, are from journal, report, website, or etc. Okay, number 3 is retrieve. Okay, if you download, okay, this is the option. But if you want to use this database, you need to record also the date you download the journal or the thesis or report, something like that. Okay, so here research type, I put here article journal. We have research article journals, conceptual article journal, general review. We have literature review here. So general review, literature review such as SLR. We have others. We call that meta analysis. Okay, so we have the research article, conceptual, general review, and the literature review. Okay, we have done the initial stage. We have done to record all the material profile, and number 2 about the information material. Okay, we go next. Okay, we go next section. We call that introduction. So this is the fact you need to record the purpose for the chapter 1. Okay, when you read the article journal, that's why in article journal they have introduction, literature review, research methodology, analysis, discussion, conclusion. Of course, whatever article, you need to record fact from chapter by chapter. We start with the chapter 1 first. Okay, if you can see here, when I write N meaning that no. So this article not mention their problem statement. They are not mentioned research question. Somehow we think that is surprisingly the article. Yes, if that article not mentioned about the problem statement, just write list down here no. Meaning that represent this article no explain on this matter. Okay, this is just dummy. Okay, this actually depend on your article also. Okay, that's why from our assignment you need to at least the number. I think that from the summary assignment, I did mention that you need to complete at least 10 articles. For example, you need to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 articles in order to complete this method. If certain section is not mentioned, just write N here, or you can write the no and O here. Okay, first thing first, you need to record your title article here. Okay, next about the research background. When you read about the article, so you should be familiar. Okay, in article journal, they don't have the subsection. You just only have introduction. How to find this is a research background, this is a problem statement. That's why in the first week, I explained with you in the video what's the meaning of research background. What the meaning of research background? Research background is a relevant issues. The most important thing when I read your proposal, okay, so I read the first thing, okay, introduction, next research background. So somehow I not clear and understand what is actually the chapter, the paragraph presents. I cannot find the issues. Okay, the most important thing, research background is the relevant issues on your topic. Please specifically, don't make general. So what topic you want to study? Oh, I want to study supply chains. What's issue on supply chains? Why you mention many things issue in supply chain? You should be focused on your research only. Please write relevant issues on the specific topic on supply chain because I want to study a supply chain. That's it. Short, simple, direct, and relevance. But somehow you explain, oh, research background, I'm studying in telecommunication. In telecommunication, all the countries should have telecommunication. This is not research background. You mentioned about telecommunication industry background. You are actually totally wrong. You should be discussed in your research background is issue. Why you want to study this topic? What's the issues? Why we need a research? So that's why you need to write in your research background is the issues. So once you read the article journal from the section introduction, we can see that, oh, this sentence is the research background. So you can record. For example, in this study, concept of entrepreneurship elements, also this method. Also, this is a relevant issue they highlight from that article. Okay. Problem statement. Okay, here I put N. If you find that this article also highlight, they have one sentence of one paragraph mentioned about the problem statement, please do simplify here. We cannot copy paste from their problem statement in our Excel because our Excel is become a database. Database should be record fact on the simplified way. Make it short. Okay, make it short. Okay. All right. So I believe that mostly the article, they have the objective. Okay, please write their objective. If this article also mention research question, please write the research question. Okay, if a hypothesis here, so this is a Malay word, so I change to English, if any. Hypothesis. Okay, if this article mention about the hypothesis, you can record the hypothesis here. Okay. Okay, definition operations and significance of research. If you follow the first weeks, I mentioned the significance of research. We have 4. When we mention about significance of the study, you should be explained 4 types. Okay, four things. Okay, number 1 is the significance on theoreticals. Number 2 is significant on the methodology. Number 3 is significant of E is the empiricals. And number 4 is the practical. Somehow student, when mentioned about significance of the study or contribution, just only mention about contribution on theoretical and practical. But you're missing on the methodological and empirical. So that's why the panel asks you where your methodological significance. Where your empirical significance? Why you just mention about the theoretical and practical only your significance of the study or contribution of study? Okay, research scope here, and in this example, they mention about the ICT as the major under the research scope. If you not mention of research limitation, you cannot. Somehow in article journal, they don't write many in the introduction session. That's why when you read the introduction article, just only maybe 3 or 4 paragraph only. So in the 4 paragraph, some the article highlight, somehow not highlight, not mentioned. If not mentioned, you just write no or N here. Okay. All right. So until chapter 1, any questions? Okay, we have done on the introduction. So you can see here, 1.2 is research background, 1.3 problem statement, 1.3 is research objective, 1.5 research question, okay, 1.6, sorry here, 1.6 is hypothesis, 1.7 definisi operationals, 1.8 significance of research, 1.9 research scope, and 1.9 research limitation. In UPSI, we actually, our outline is research scope and research limitation. Okay, before that, everyone here, number one, you should be download all the thesis guideline from IPS. Okay, don't follow whatever your friends mention. Please show your effort, go to the website IPS, download the thesis guideline. Okay, somehow that we unhappy from FEE student, when you go the proposal defense, you not follow the format. This is a very basic. This is a basic. The first thing first, once you start register PhD in UPSI, number one you should be do is download the author guideline, thesis guideline from IPS. They are update time to time. You need to check and need at least every week or per month. You need go to the website IPS and refer the formatting. Somehow they are change their format. Somehow they are do the update. All this training, all the benefits, all the highlight, all the news will be directly updated in the website. During my PhD student, I always check the IPS website. This is a common because, for example, we are student check email every single. Let's say I'm lecturer now. I'm check email maybe 2 hours, 3 hours, I need to check my emails. Okay. As the student also, you need to go to the website IPS. Maybe when you start open your PC, the first thing first, you need to go to the website IPS. You can see that what's the information about the news, template format. That's a do. Please refer our. I know that we have a lot of the student international. Somehow that you have people assist you. Don't trust 100%. Okay. Please check safely in the website, and then you please download that information. Okay, somehow that, oh, my friend mentioned do this, our friend do, no. So the panel, the supervisor not agree that if you are mentioned on that. Okay, please directly go to the website IPS and download. Okay, so the IPS website, okay, you just write down here in IPS. Okay, if you can, if you know specifically, you can if here know the specifically, you can mention in the chat. If you want to the basic Google general, you just write IPS UPSI or postgrad and postgraduate studies UPSI. And so this method should be you get the information during the registrations. This registration should be you should be know that all the information you need to be downloaded. Okay. Okay. Other question on chapter 1. Yes. Also master student also. Master student, degree student. So not for the degree student. For master and PhD student, you need to download from the IPS. Yes, you need to follow the writing and proposal. You need to follow. Because if you study in UPSI, you need to follow all the things, the format and the guideline from UPSI. If you go to other university also, you need to follow that university format and guideline. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Now, next we go for the literature review. We go to the literature review. I try to assist you on the specific outline, but somehow that is actually depend on your supervisor. Communication with your supervisor is really important. Okay, please care your attitude. Okay, please humble when you build the relationship and based on your communication with your supervisor. Okay, supervisor is the most important here. And if you want to go to the next session, you want to go to literature review, you need to discuss with supervisor. My research background is okay or not. Okay, my problem statement clear. Okay, this is the best or research objective to represent our thesis. Every single section you need to discuss with supervisor to make approval. Okay, that the difference between you all study from degree, from diploma. Okay, that the postgrad, everything you want to make sure to get the green light for go to the next section, you need to have approval from your supervisor. Anything. Okay, so if you are semester 1, the most critical way is how about the communication with your supervisor. Okay. Okay, for MBA student, not yet. No, or our supervisor. Okay. Thank you for your information. Okay, so it's okay. It's okay if you don't have the supervisor, but this one is very good learning process. Okay, at least you learn about the research way, because I believe that when you take other subject on the MBA. So you need do assignment. Mostly lecturer, if you want to complete your assignment, their request read the article journal, then their request read article journal, need do the literature review also. So from this subject, okay, I know that every MBA student also you have the specific project. And the last year, from the last semester, you need to complete from the mini thesis or mini, we call that final year project and master project. So from the master project also you need do some the research project. So because this is the first semester, at least you need to learn in this method also. Okay, from the master for the MBA and from based on the previous record. Okay, let's say next year maybe you need to start your project somehow, that you need to know, you want to refresh, or you want to much clear, or you want to make sure that all the process on the research is in the right way. You can also join this class again, no problem. But please mention to me, I already take the business research method on the May 2022, but I need to join again because in this semester I need to complete my project. And okay, it's okay if you join now, it's much better, because you can apply also in other subject, because other subject also from the assignment also need to do the some little bit research and basic research also, somehow that you need assignment, you need to collect the data or something like that. Okay, all right. Number 1 is overviews. Okay, overview meaning that, so when you start to write in chapter literature review, you need to write on the overview. Overview is about the gender. If you want to study about the telecommunication, you can mention here why telecommunication. Why telecommunication is have the potential and benefits. Why telecommunication have the critical. You can write in here. It's not in chapter 1. Chapter 1 is actually introduction for chapter 2, introduction for chapter 3, introduction for chapter 4 and chapter 5. That's why in chapter 1 is direct, simple, short, not many page in the chapter 1. If you want to write more, discuss more, it's about the literature review. It's not introduction. Introduction is straight away. Whatever you want to mention the issue, you straight away. This is the important critical issue. You need to write in chapter 1. If you want to discuss a many perspective or issue, the perspective A, this issue, perspective B, please write in your literature review. In which area? This 2.2 overview. Okay, we go to the another parts. Okay, this is a green one. Okay, dark green here. We call that main knowledge and support. So that's why when you cover one topic in your research, your supervisor mentioned about their theory. You have refined your research theory. So that the theory, this theory is really important to drive your research. Okay, you want to study what topic? Supply chain management. What's the theory of the supply chain management? This really good question. Your supervisor asked the question because if you want to study all the supply chain, you need to know about the knowledge, the specific theoreticals. So that's why we need to start with the supply chain, because supply chain, they have many concepts, they have many models, they have many theory. What theory the actually can represent in your thesis? How many theory? Some student always ask me, okay, doctor, how many theory for the PhD student? How many theory for the master student? We not calculate on the quantity. If you are using only one theory for PhD, also okay. Right. But it cannot same to everyone. Some this topic they need using 3 theory. Your friend maybe use the 4 theory. I'm use 1 theory. No problem. Okay, because we actually not quantify quality. Your thesis is not depends on the quantity. Sharp, okay, because you want to study this topic to cover certain specific topic. On this specific topic, we start with to identify the theory this one. You need to justify why you need to use one theory in your research. No problem. I mentioned with my case, okay, my PhD students, okay, my PhD student is using 4 theory. But the problem is this 4 theory is similar function, similar concept and similar understanding. They have we as a researcher, we have the option at least to choose which the best theory. In that case, in my student, theory A, theory B, theory C, and theory D is similar. Okay. What the reason you use many theory? I'm use theory A, B, C, and D because they complement each other. I using theory B because theory B can support theory A. Theory A can support theory B. Complements. If you use 4 theory, the reason is because in this topic, others research using theory A, other research using theory B, other research using theory C, other research in theory D. But you need to go to effort. You want to show your effort. You mentioned that in our study, from the previously, they are using only single theory. But in my case, I want to using 4 theory. Suddenly, you go to the proposal defense. In my case, my student going to the Viva, the panel is not agree. Panel mentioned that, oh, from your topic, you not use 4 theory. You should be use only 1 theory. Okay. Okay, should be there from 4 theory. Please choose which the best one to represent in your thesis. Because they use the 4 theory, major corrections. Major corrections. In the case 1. Okay, we can see also the case number 2. They're using only 1 theory. But all the expert, all the panel know that these topics. This topic meaning that you cannot longly using only using single theory, because you need to have the support. You're looking here. So after we know about the main knowledge, we should be know the support. Support meaning that you have the theory as the main, so you need to use another theory for the supporting theory. Okay, let's say as the management, you are familiar. This one, if you are not know this theory, meaning that you are not management and business students. And for example, Maslow. Actually, Maslow is not theory. They start with the Maslow models. Okay, because the people still use and still use until now. Some of the literature review highlight that we call that Maslow theory. But from the original one, Maslow is not theory. Maslow is the models. Okay. From the Maslow theory, okay, they are mentioned about the very basic for your life. But now, 2022, what other thing? Also the basic things. We need insurance. But Maslow is not mentioned about insurance. Nowadays, about technology, Wi-Fi. Maslow not mentioned about the Wi-Fi. So in order to make sure that theory can be aligned with the current reality, they need have support. So that's why main theory, they need to the supporting theory, meaning that the new theory. The original for the main theory maybe 1950. And now 2022, so we can find that the latest and new theory become to support to our main theory. Some other research use the models, so model can support your theories. Theory cannot be standalone. Somehow the theory maybe 30 backs, 40, 15 years backs. That this to make a reality in our current situation, we need to support. So that's why in the thesis we call that theory is theoreticals and support we call that conceptual. And give the example when we are study from our degrees, so we study about paper on the management accounting. So management accounting theory and concept. This matter also. In your thesis also, you need to write your theoretical and concept. So some here I write the support. So support also here can be concept. Okay, can be concept. Sorry. Concept. Okay, so depend on your study, Ed. So if you are, I know that you are actually the PhD and master student. You read a lot of the article, journal, and thesis, but somehow you need to read from the government side. What's material and document from the governments? Annual report, and you have the policy, you have the blueprint. What else? And so you have many plan and policies somehow. So not just only using the government document, you need to use the industrial document, annual report, white report, industrial report is something how. Okay, but so it's actually this one I just put down here, supporting theory, model, policy, plan, benchmarking, principles. So we have many. So maybe other study can find the fundamentals. They find that the blueprints. So they find so many sustainable plan, whatever. So you can little bit edit this template to add on. Okay, so I already give you the Excel. So this Excel also you can edit, you can add on. Okay, all right. Could you please give us the example from the multi-related theory? Okay, Fatah, what the specific question here? So your question is quite general. Could you please give us the example multi-related theory? So in which area? For example, you need to give specifically which topic is something like that. So I'm not the theoretical man. I'm not literature. I'm from industrial. So if you think that I have my knowledge can cover all the theory, I'm not the right person. Okay, I'm not the right person. My first is doctorate engineering. I'm actually doctorate engineering. Okay, my first is doctorate engineering. My second PhD is about the financial economics. Okay, in the both thesis, I'm not using the theoretical more because I'm the conceptual researcher. Conceptual researcher, meaning that my research is actually more futuristics. Okay, my first thesis about the Lean Six Sigma. I'm studying Lean Six Sigma in the automotive industry in Malaysia, but Malaysia not ready for the Lean Six Sigma. But my research is actually futuristic. Okay, as a researcher, we need to provide earlier rather than the implementation. So let's say automotive Malaysia wants to implement Lean Six Sigma, they can refer my thesis. Because in my thesis already discussed how that the Malaysia can be success to implement Lean Six Sigma. Okay, my second thesis about the generating financial and non-financial for the most. And in Malay, because in my second page I write in Bahasa Melayu, penjanaan dana masjid. That the thesis. In English we call that generating financial and non-financial for the most, for the community ummah. Okay, so in this part that if we don't find that the single theory, the single theory can represent my first PhD and my second PhD, that's why I using the concept. So because my research is more suitable for the current one, meaning that in Malaysia also is totally new. That's why my philosophical approach is quite different with the more the theoretical. Somehow the lecture is based on the theoretical. If you don't find the theory, you cannot do a research. That we call that lecture from the theoretical side. Okay, but the most important thing is based on your reading. Ada soalan dia kata, so kereta terbang can be materialized. Okay, no problems. But it's depend on your study lah. You are from the researcher from the science. You are researcher from the engineering side. You are future of management, something like that. And if you ask me, so kereta terbang can be materialized, the answer is yes. But research you need to prove. Okay, if not the idealism. If you think that everything is idealism, it's not research. So as research, you need to explore. You need to investigate. Okay, you need to explain. And you need to identify. You need to determine. You need to examine. What examinations? What you want to explore? All the explore, you should have the research strategy. You have the research strategy. So which the best research strategy? Oh, this material, you cannot collect the data. If you want to collect the data, maybe you take 10 years. Okay, I cannot do the collect data like that. So maybe I need to do the experiment. How long to do the experiments? Kan? Macam ni tanya soalan kan, kereta terbang. How long you want to make the experiments? Kita ada PhD 3 years only. So how to make realize? So that's why you need to have specifics. I'm from the automotive engineering background. So my friends study on the automotive, just those sounds quality. And tutup pintu kereta nak pergi tak nak bunyi. Pop, pop. That's the specific topic for the PhD. So we don't the study topic is not cover too big. So just go to the specific ones. So that's why if you are mentioned why I'm study a lot of the PhD. Now I'm doing my third PhD. Why? Because I think that a lot of things I need to learn. Okay, PhD just the small thing of the PhD. You study on the specific ones. If the people mention Fazli expert, I'm not expert. You are actually automotive expert. No, I'm not automotive expert. My study just focus little bit things in the automotive. If you think that my expert, meaning that expert, you can answer all the things about anything about the automotive. But I'm not experts. Okay, that's why in PhD somehow students have become troubles and then stress in order to complete in your research. So research, you should be deep. You should be focused on the specifically. Then you should be easy to find that what's your problem statement, what your specific research objective. If you make it general, it's going difficulties. Okay. So question from the Abdul Fattah, MBO and management based on objective. And 300 performance appraisal, another theory which related to MBO. Okay, so Abdul Fattah, the most important thing to be a researcher, you need to find that the previous researcher study on the MBO and performance. Let's say you are my students, Abdul Fattah. What's a theory and the concept if you want to learn about the performance? Number one, you need to read the book from the balance scorecard. Kaplan and Norton's. 1992, 1991, 2000, 2006, 2008. You need to master about the performance. We have the multiple performance. We have the comprehensive performance. We have the organizational performance. We have manufacturing performance. We have the financial performance. We have a lot of the performance. If from the previous study and some study is much related relevancies in our issues. So the panel will ask you why you use these theories, why you use ABT costing, why you use the balance scorecard to present a performance. Everything you need to justify. Okay, MBO management by objective. I learned MBO 1999. This is an old version once. why MBO still relevant in 2022? Okay, that one question. Number two question, what is practically right now, 2022, what is actually research? Research from the Sign Direct, research for Emerald. What is actually researcher study on the management objective during 2022? You should be answered that question. How many papers, if you read the MBO, is writing in 2022, 2020? Very difficult to find. Because MBO study during early 2000s. If you want to study MBO, how to find that? The current from 2022. Abdul Fattah, that's really important, Abdul Fattah. So I'm this background. The MBO is my background. Very difficult to find that the related relevance MBO article journal 2022, 2021. Because we have already changed that one. That's why the organization, if Abdul Fattah, you go to the Malaysia hospital, we not use MBO, we use already lean healthcare. You go to the manufacturing, yeah, we are actually not apply for the MBO, we have already applied for the leans. So that's why you should be realistic in your study. I'm not say that MBO is not relevant, but as a researcher, you need to answer the two questions. What's a currently practice for researcher, for industry, and for the worldwide purpose? You as the researcher, we should be stand with the current practice. Okay, all right. Number two is actually everything is about recently. Because we actually, as a researcher, you need to discuss, okay? You need to discuss. When you want to discuss, you need to find the article journal. So if you want to find article journal, you can ask all the lecturers. Lecturer mentioned that if you want to discuss on your thesis, you need to discuss from the previous researcher. Please find very good article in year 2022, 2021, 2020, 2019, 2018. My question, why you choose topic MBO during 2018 to 2022? Can you show me what's the article discussing? How you want to answer that questions? That's important. How that you should be know what is about researcher. Let's say after you done your doctorate, okay, you want to attach in industrials. As researcher only focus from the future and what the currently happened in the 5 years. If you are not study now, maybe you are actually researcher theoreticals, like academics, like lecturer. Most of the lecturer is researcher on theoreticals, not the reality and practical way. I know that some lecturer maybe different opinion with me, but in business research method, we are actually not much theoretically. If you go to others class, education research method, yes. 90% is theoretically. In this class, we have the MBA. Okay? MBA is not theoretical. Business research method is not theoretical way. We use the theoretical, but we not depend 100% on the theoretical. All things. And recently, we should be much practically. And okay, that is thing. Okay, that's just to advise Abdul Fatih, something like that. So if you ask me specifically management by objective, we don't have specific theory, but you need to check from the previous study. If the topic is MBO, what's their theory? That's why you need to key in. So that's why we in this template, you need to key in. Oh, this study on the MBO. You need to find what theory they are using. For example, oh, this topic study MBO. So the theory using theory XYZ. You need to list down. After you read 20, 30 article about MBO, then you know that, oh, in MBO, we have the 5 theory. I somehow that I just give the simple question. Okay, Fatah, on the MEO, can you show me how many theory reporting from the previous study, what the exactly theory they apply? Can you quantify to me how many theory? Okay, that's the number one question. Number two question, from your reading and understanding, why researcher A, researcher B, researcher C using different theory? Okay, then my third question is, how you show us and justify why 2022 as practically we need using this theory in order to implement and make it a solution and beneficial to the society, to organization, and for our quality of life. Your answer, it should be logical matters, rational, and recently. You cannot be because others research previously used this, and that's why I'm used also. You cannot be answer like that. Okay, if you work in the industry, okay, firstly, why you use this? Because I observe to others companies using the same method. That's why we need use this thing. You think that your manager happy from your answer? No, I believe no. You need to justify the reason why you use this, why you use that. In research also the same thing. And let's say as if you work in the industry, you spend money to buy the material, you buy innovation, you need to invest many things. All of the things you buy increase the cost. If you increase the cost, you need to increase the return. Okay, what happened is actually waste. Oh, this tool is not right. Okay, our investment is failure. Okay, meaning that you actually increase the cost. And you actually increase the cost. This happened also in the business research method. You cannot be failure. Why you use the theory? Because the others research use of that. So that's why I use the same thing. That if you imagine that is a management way. You kerja as the management. You work as a management. You work as a business person. You work as the entrepreneur. Okay. As to the management people can accept why you do this because I follow others people's. You can accept that answer? I believe no. So that's why we need to realistic wherever you do a research. Okay. Yes. As a research, your supervisor, your lecture is theoretical. Okay. That's why you need to have the very good in with your supervisor in terms of communication. How about the relationship? How justify them? Okay. But in this matter, no runaway. Because now you do a PhD and master in universities. You not do the PhD and master from the industrial. So if your lecturer requests, okay, Moin, you need to find two theory. So you need to find the two theory. That the reality in the universities. Everything is depend on your supervisor. So that the another complex atau what we call that struggle stage. That how that you need to make sure you want to prove with your supervisor that this topic, the most suitable theory in this, the most suitable theory, I'm using this theory A or theory B. So I'm also face the same issue also, that really important. I need to read more and more. I show this database material list. I show with my supervisor, this in my Excel. I give the reason why in this study I'm most suitable using this theory because blah, 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 blah. I need to show the proof. I cannot blame that my supervisor, oh, my supervisor don't know in this topic. My supervisor just simple way think that need to read and read. That I need some final argument that if I don't find the theory, meaning that I need to change my topic or what. So that's why communication with supervisor is really important. Okay. Okay, next. We go to the definitions. Okay, what the difference between chapter 2 definition and chapter 1 definition? Chapter 1 definition, we call that operational definitions. Operational definition. Short, direct, simples. That's it. That we call that operational definition. Chapter 2, we have another definitions. We call that conceptual definition. Fazli say that leadership, this definition. Okay, government mentioned about definition like this one. From the researcher from China mentioned or leadership like this. So many perspective, many authors definitions, and many perspective from the government, from the industry, from the local, from the international. So many perspective of definition, we call that conceptual definition. Example, Fazli, leadership is a blah, blah, blah. In addition, Abdul also define leadership like this. In UK, the classical researcher highlight that leadership is something like that. In Malaysia, currently 2022, researcher highlight leadership like this. For the governments that you discuss multiple perspective, we call that conceptual definition. You should be right in chapter 2. It's not chapter 1. Chapter 1, short, direct, simple, accurate. The difference between, in order you write in chapter 1 and chapter 2, they have different skills if you want to write. Chapter 1 meaning that the best chapter is chapter 1. No waste, no defects, no error, going perfect in writing chapter 1. How to go in perfect? If you done chapter 2, you need to improvise your chapter 1. You go to the chapter 3, you need to go to chapter 1, also make an alignment and improvise. You want to submit as you have done chapter 4, then you need to improvise your chapter 1 again. After you done chapter 5, you need to improvise your chapter 1 again. Before you submit, check and check and check your chapter 1. Why? As the supervisor and your examiner, internal and external examiner, can need to read chapter 1 more than one time. They read your chapter 1 more than one time. So that's why you need to be careful in your chapter 1. As student, you cannot write perfectly in your chapter 1 during your first semester. No. And time to time, you need to write chapter 1 perfectly. You need to cite the best citation. You need to write the latest years. You need to write prominent authors. Prominent authors, the best authors in chapter 1. The materials on the citation, the best on sentence, the best on writing, the current year, you will be present in chapter 1. It's okay. Chapter 2 is something like you need to discuss more and more. You can blend from the old version, a new version. You discuss a more perspective, not just only for the local, national, but you can discuss for the international perspective also. Okay? All right. So go to the second one. It's about a DV. DV is about the dependent variables. For the quantitative student, we use the variable. So DV is stand for dependent variable. IV is the independent variable. So we have the third variable. We call that control variables. So there we have the moderating variable. Then we have mediating variable. Okay, for qualitative researcher that I'm highlight here, we call that team. Team 1, team 2, maybe you have team 3, team 4, team 5, something like that. So you can modify your this database master list. Maybe you have more than one, maybe you have more than 2 teams, you can change here. But in this method that I just share both like mixed method, so it's depend to student and researcher that you using only for the quantitative or qualitative, or you using a mix on the multiple methods. Okay, so from the next week we start already discuss on chapter 3. Okay, next week we cover on the topic of research design. So we will be discuss more about the quantitative and qualitative research. Okay, so now today we in the week 4 we still under literature review. So you should be know about how that really important on literature review. That's why I'm discuss about the mathematics. Sorry, it's not metric literature. Okay, so this 2.10 is really important. Why? Okay, I highlight. Okay, I just pick up the nama Hana. Okay, Hannah, can you show me which literature review to support your research question number 1? Your research objective number 1. Okay, from research objective number 1, where your literature review? Okay, that you need to answer that. Oh, literature review for objective number 1, refer page 40 to 60. 40 and 60, this page is a discussion on the previous study on specific topic on objective number 1. That the student cannot answer that question because the panel asks is, can you show me the page, specific page that cover on the literature review on objective number 1. Somehow the student, they write literature review, just write and write and write, but you not specifically which area section. For example, 2.8 literature review objective number 1, 2.9 literature review for objective number 2, 2.10 literature review for objective number 3. That's another tips for you in order to make sure your literature review, you are actually good writing in your literature review. You should be know that what's the most critical important and then the favorite question from the panel in order to comment your literature review writing. Okay. Another thing is about the theoretical, conceptual, and research frameworks. So this is another part. We call that crucial and the conflicts discussion. Okay, where your theoretical framework, where your conceptual framework, where your research framework. Some student difficult to understand this matter. Okay, for qualitative research, is compulsory have the theoretical framework, conceptual framework, research framework? No. If you are qualitative research, no framework also okay. Because qualitative, the philosophy of research is about idealism, subjective matter, flexibility. Because you want to deep explore. You want to make sure the clear and understanding explanations. But if you are actually quantitative research, is requirement. You should have theoretical framework, conceptual framework, and maybe you need another research framework. It depends with the supervision guide. Some of the lecturer, they request only theoretical framework and research framework. No need conceptual framework. Other lecturer need to at least theoretical framework and conceptual framework. No need to research framework. Some lecturer request both, all the. You should have theoretical framework, conceptual framework, and research framework, especially for quantitative research. Okay. Any question for chapter 2? Any questions on chapter 2? That also, I'm not just only explaining section by section, that you after you done read one article, you need to record. And you have they are mentioned. For example, a conceptual framework, yes, that you know that, oh, this article providing conceptual framework. So when you do the sorting, let's say you want to write in chapter 3, you need to refer which article have proposed the conceptual framework. Then you know that this article have conceptual framework. So you can learn from the article how to write how to visual and write for the section conceptual framework. That's the reason why I put why here. So it's better in future if you want to refer this article, you should know that this article have conceptual frameworks. So better to us when you want to refer, want to more understanding how that to produce on the conceptual framework. Okay, so far any questions on the chapter 2? Okay. Okay, next. I believe that this another, if you are in semester 1 or semester 2, maybe a few things you are not clear here because still news. Okay, but again, we will discuss more detail in this part for the next week. So especially we discuss for the next week, start 3.2, 3.3, 3.4. So actually, specifically 3.2, 3.3, and 3.4 will be discussed next week and following weeks. So in class business research method, we actually must cover on methodology. So part of analysis is not this class. Okay, for the next semester, you need to register class for analysis. So our class business research method is most cover on methodology. So start for the next week, following week until week 14, we discuss about the methodology. Okay, but I'm at least we start class on this methodology, we start the 4 weeks. So we already discussed on introduction, database thesis, how to write literature review. And that next week we start for the methodology. Okay. So what is the research design? The question from the panel, where your research design? Some students cannot answer that question. Where your research design? Research design in the class business research method, you need to visual. That's the question. You need to visualize your research design. The second question, you refer who research design. You need to answer. Oh, I'm use the Creswell research design. I'm use the Saunders based on the research onion design. You need to answer that second question also. Okay. So next, research philosophy and approach. From that article, you should be know that. If yes, yes. If no, no. So what the research philosophy? Positivism, interpretism, critical realism, postmodernism, pragmatism. You should be know. Lecturer, I'm not clear lah. What's meaning of the positivism? What interpretism? You need to learn. I'm also a student before, so I don't know that all the methods of the philosophy also, but I need to learn because the panel will ask you. Okay, what others? Okay, so I just pick one name. Hasbullah, what is your research philosophy? How you answer that question? You use the quantitative of qualitative. Oh, I'm use the qualitative. Can you explain what's the difference regarding on the abductive and inductive approach? How you want to answer that question? And that's why you need to learn about the research philosophy. What the can you explain in your topic, in your research, what is your ontology, epistemology, and ideology? How you want to answer that questions? So that's why research philosophy is really important as researcher. In business research method, we have one scholar formula. I already give the books. I already give the book in the WhatsApp group about the book is a business research method from the Saunders. Please read that books. So from this class, at least you need to read one book. That the book from the Saunders business research method. Okay. I will be share again in the WhatsApp group, and maybe so we are already in the week 4. Okay, so still in your senior not join in WhatsApp group. Okay, in our class specifically is not 56, we are actually 60 plus, but I don't know how that your senior is not join WhatsApp group and also not join our class. And last semester 70 fail in this subject business research method. 70% fail in this subject because not submit the assignment. Very simple reason. Because this 17 not join a class, second not submit the assignment. And I don't look in the perfect matters. So I need you join this class and at least you get some knowledge. And then for purpose to complete in this business research method, please do all the assignment. I already give the detail assignment number 1, assignment number 2 and 3. Please open your business research method Google Drive. I already give one folder for assignment, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. Specifically, I already give you in the Google Drive link. Okay, time to time you need to check. Okay. So this is a part of research method. If I want to explain one by one, maybe take many hours. Okay, but this purpose today just to explain why we need to record after we done to read one article journal, because easy to us to be structured, to be strategically in order to write in one sentence and one paragraph. Okay. So research strategy. Okay. For example, I asked a question from Saif Nabil. Saif Nabil, what is your research strategy? How you want to answer that question? If you not learn. Oh, research strategy in quantitative only have two. You do a survey or experiment. Quantitative only two. But qualitative, we have many. Some students use the case study. Some use the phenomenology, ethnography, action research. What else? Narrative inquiry, achiever research for data secondaries. And somehow the student use the mixed methods. What type of mixed method? And triangulations, transformative, sequential. What sequential? Explaining sequential or exploring sequential. Another thing is I forgot already. They have using another's. They have 7 types of mixed methods. How about what the difference between multi-method and multi-techniques? Oh, I'm study using the interview. Okay, because this research method, we need to more rational and clear understanding about the research. If you are actually researcher quantitative, okay, I'm using research strategy survey. Okay, what type your instrument? I have interview. Can be quantitative research do the interview? The answer is yes. No problem. You are quantitative research. If you want to interview, can. But the type of the interview, we call that structured interview. When you go to the restaurants, okay, and kalau in Malay, Abang tanya, nak makan apa? That we call that structured question. For qualitative, is okay, you use the structured question, but need use the semi-structured or unstructured questions. Bagaimana anda berjaya dalam kehidupan dalam keadaan COVID-19? This is not structured question. You need to answer based on your experience and deeper. Once the answer based on experience and deeper, in the subjective matter, when you ask one person, the answer is different. You answer, go to the second participant, the answer is different. We call that alignment and arrangement. That's the part of the semi-structured and unstructured. When we are using the instrument interview on the semi-structured and unstructured, become the qualitative. Okay, I'm using the quantitative, I'm using the observation. No problem, quantitative using observation. But the difference is just structured. Okay, you go to the classroom, and then you quantify how many table, how many chair, how many lamp, how many fans, how many door. No problem, you can observation because the technique observation just structured. Somehow the student, oh, if you use the interview, it's qualitative. If you use the observation, it's the qualitative. No. So that's why you need to be more positive and rational. No problem. If you want to quantitative research, you want to make an interview, can, no problem. You want to observation, no problem. But you need know the limitation. The limitation, I just only using interview and observation in the structure way only. So in other way, qualitative research. So mostly qualitative research, do the interview, do the refer on the documents, and then for the observation, can be qualitative researcher do the questionnaire. No problem. Qualitative research can use questionnaire, but they have the limitation. Okay, what's the limitation between qualitative and quantitative in order to implement the survey? Hypothesis. If the qualitative use the questionnaire but don't have hypothesis can acceptable. What type the yang no hypothesis? If you want to find the mean, standard deviation, qualitative can be used that. But if you want to measure relationship between A and B, so qualitative cannot testing on that. Because in this method, they need the hypothesis. As long you refer the questionnaire, no need hypothesis, researcher from qualitative can use that, no problem. So that is the difference between education research and the business research method. So that's why you read the books for the business research method. Oh, we can make interview, we can make observation, no problem. Because in business, you want to be success. In reality, if you do the marketing works, sometimes you add the flyers, and you go to give the catalogs. You apply the what we call the internet for the online purpose. So you need to interview the customers. You do the survey, and if you do the marketing works, you give ask the question, you looking the observation, attitude and behavior from the customer, you make observation, no problem. Because the business and management attitude, we accept. If you are quantitative, you want to make an interview observation, also no problem. If you are actually qualitative, you want to do some survey, no problem. Okay. Does comparison study approach consider a research strategy? Okay, comparison research, they become another research strategy. It's not easy, Abdul Fattah. It's not easy to use the comparison study. You need to read a book on the comparison. Let's say I'm studying the case study. I need to read a book for the case study. I need to study the actual research. I need to read a few books on the actual research. If I want to study the comparative study, you need to comparative study. Comparative study, oh, I'm studying in Malaysia, and then I'm collect data also in Qatar. That's we not call comparison study. They're just only the different place. I'm using the survey. My research strategy is survey. I'm studying between Malaysia, Thailand, and Filipina. That we don't call that comparative study. Because my study on different countries and different place only. Comparison study, you need to learn about the process and methodology. Please remember, Abdul Fattah, comparison study is not easy. So you need to know that you need to choose the country because the study. Oh, in Qatar, they have different practices. In Malaysia, you need to have different practices. So in order to make it comparative study, they have specific method and technique you need to refer. Some students, they think that, oh, I'm studying in Malaysia and Qatar, or I do the comparison study. Not the right answer. Okay. So comparative study, they have their assumption. We need the process. Comparison study, step 1, what? Step 2, they have the process. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. You need to follow the step. The step is not similar with other research strategy. Survey, they have the assumption and research step. A case study also, they have the research step. Actual research, they have the research step. You cannot be just make easier in many things. You just, oh, because I using different country, I make it a comparison study. And so that another thing you should be answered. Okay, if you say that comparison study is one of research study, the answer is yes. Comparison study is one of the research. In terms of basically comparison study is based on the qualitative research. But if you want to determine and identify, can also acceptable for comparative study for the quantitative. But the question is same. You want to study comparative study based on experiment or survey? The answer is should be to be answer lah. Oh, my comparative study based on the experiment. My comparative study based on the survey. If not based on these two, straight away confirm that comparison study you are actually in qualitative research. Okay. How many citation we do, we submitted and final proposal assignment? Okay, we need quantify. We go to the quality. Whatever fact you highlight need to support by citation. No question at all. No, panel will not ask the question, oh, for the citation, you should be 200, 300. It depends. Depends. The issue is you use the personal experience and knowledge. Cannot be, cannot accept. You write certain fact, but no citation. The panel will blame. Why actually you mention about fact, but suddenly not code or the citation? You should be learn about the technique. You should be know that what is actually fact, what is actually conclude, what is actually explaining. So we need to learn about the academic writing. You need to learn academic writing, how to write in terms of fact, how the way to make very good citation. Okay, in one paragraph, how many citation? It also depends. Some study only one citation, other study maybe have 2, maybe have 3. The most important thing is about the technique on the right in one paragraph. In one paragraph should have the introductions. And we start the one paragraph, we start with the first line is about introduction. Second line is about the main facts. The third line is based on the support for the main facts. The last sentence is about the conclusion or summary. So if we can easy to understand in this paragraph, just read for the first line and the last line. Because first line about the introduction, the last line is about the summary or conclusion. That we can know that what is actually this paragraph discussed. Okay, sorry. All right. Okay. Next, about the questionnaire. Questionnaire is something like instrument. How many commonly instrument we use as a research? So we have the interview that we call the instruments. So we have the observation, so another instruments. So we have document also instrument. Number 4 is about the survey or the questionnaire, so another instruments. So other subject, for example, simulation. So simulation, another instruments. So when the panel asks you in your research, what instrument you use, you need to answer, oh, I'm use instrument survey on the questionnaire. I'm use the instrument of interview. I'm using the instrument on the observation. I'm using the document. If you are actually familiar, the term we call that triangulations. Triangulation is from the term is triangles. So basically the researcher understand about triangle mean that it should be have 3. So meaning that triangulation, let's say I'm use the observation, I'm use of the document and interview, that we call that triangulation. But somehow other scholar highlight that if we use only 2 instruments, also we call that triangulation. This one depend with the citation, with the author's unit cite. Okay, from this book highlight that if you use 3, that we call that triangulation. Others book mention that, oh, it's okay, just only use 2 instruments, also we call that the triangulation. This actually is depends on the way you want to cite. You want to highlight because you want to, because your supervisor request need triangulation. So maybe you need use only 2. You need to cite that the authors mentioned. You can use only 2 instruments to represent on the triangulation. Okay. So the interview here, I'm write down structured, semi-structured, and non-structured. So the interview, we have some, you need to produce your protocol, something like that. So you need to identify, you can blend, doesn't matter that, oh, for the interview, you need to standardize. It's okay. A few questions on the structured, a few another question on the semi-structured. So another question is about the not structured. You can mix on the types or what we call that category of the interview. Not necessarily, oh, for interview, kalau dah using the semi-structured, all the questions should be semi-structured. No, you can make it blend. Okay, you need to list the number of populations. Okay, you need to know that using the sampling technique. So I think the following week or maybe for the next month, so we can discuss about the sampling technique. So we can use for the non-probability sampling, for example, convenience sampling. We have snowball sampling, quota sampling. So we have the purposive sampling. We have the volunteer sampling. For the probability sampling, we have the systematic sampling. We have the random stratified random sampling. So we have systematic samplings, systematic random sampling. So you need to know that the difference between non-probability sampling and probability sampling. So we have a few under non-probability sampling and under random sampling. You should be need to really understand. So you need to choose which the best sampling technique for your research. Okay. Sampling size. So some have using the tables and the formula to calculate the number of sampling size. So this is another favorite question to the from panel also. How the question is how many size sampler in sampling size from your research and all your studies. Okay, so it's about the so if you have done to calculate population sampling technique, sampling size, you need to know the sampling size in terms of quantity. Okay, so you need to refer. You refer I'm refer from the G power. I'm using the Craigie Morgan. Oh, so from the Craigie Morgan, how many sampling size you need to at least? So how about the sending number? So maybe you need to send more. So this is the target is 147. For example, from Craigie Morgan, highlight that you need to sampling size 147, but you can increase the numbers of sampling because the reason maybe from the previous case when we send 1000 only get feedback 5% or 10% only, so the result is not really good. So that's why you need to send more in order to get more, and then at least to achieve 147 target. In order to make it best analysis, you should be have data 147. So that's why we need to send more to get the more higher you send, maybe you get higher also the return. Okay, so you need to reporting that the response rate. So in the article you read, maybe they highlight also from their data collection how many that response rate they are mentioned in 72. You need to record on 72% also. Okay, unit analysis. So this is different between qualitative and quantitative research. Basically, unit analysis in the quantitative research have two that we call that organizational and individual. If you send one question for one company only, that we call that unit analysis is organizational. If you submit, for example, for the one industry, they have many employees. So you send questionnaire to all the employees. So the unit analysis is individual. So you need to know that specifically on the survey. So you want to send the questionnaire, one question for one company, or you want to send to the all the employee. So if you want to the all the employee, all the student, we call that individual unit analysis. If you send one organization, one institute, only one questionnaire, we call that organizational unit analysis. Okay. Next, you have mentioned that this study have based on your country, but in this chapter 3, you need to have specific location also. We know that this country is based on Korea, so the specific location is the Busan. Okay. Time horizon. Time horizon is really important. Two basic you should be know about the time horizon. We have only two. Number one is called that cross-sectional. Cross-sectional is more suitable for the survey, for the quantitative research. But for the quantitative research also related on the second one is we call that longitudinal. Longitudinal is actually basically for the qualitative research and the experiments research. Okay, we have only two time horizon, cross-sectional and longitudinal. Longitudinal are more suitable, take a long period time in order to collect data, such as qualitative research. But if you are structured just only one time, let's say you send the questionnaire, then you get the return, that we call that cross-sectional. So please remember, when we talk about the time horizon, we only have two, which is you are actually cross-sectional or you have the longitudinals. Okay. Okay, next. So we discuss about the research ethics. Okay, please familiar in OPSI. If you want to collect your data, please fill in form for research ethics. You cannot collect the data until you can get approval for research ethics. So in UPSI, we have the board. So you need to fill a form, then you need to include your instrument also on all the letter support to send to the what you call that, the ethics board, ethics research board, to make it give you pass or not. So you can get pass for the research ethic. Then for the next one, you can collect the data. Okay, that's another thing that should be know that as a student. Okay, you need to, if this semester have courses on the research ethic, please join. Okay, in UPSI sometime I think that 2-3 months the IPS will conduct the training on the research ethic procedure and requirement, need to go that specific class. Okay, that's the training class and workshop, in order to, let's say, for example, after proposal defense, you want to collect the data, you need to fill a form also. Instead, you need to fill up the form with attached with your instrument in order to get approval from the ethics research board. Okay. Okay, next is a validity expert. So this is really important when I talk about the research in methodology. So you should be know that the couple of this one. So we call that validity and reliability. So this method also, validity, we have a few type of validity. So reliability also we have the few types. So you need to explain in this article, use what type of the validity, what type of the reliability. So mention yes. So you need to highlight which type of validity: face validity, content validity, construct validity. So you need to specify. Okay. So, and this article have the pilot study mentioned. If you not mention a pilot study, you just write no. If the mention of the pilot study, you need to mention of the what type of the analysis of pilot study, and then you can also list down a numbers of the pilot study. Let's say they're using the 50 pilot study, you need to mention yes, how many? 50. So you, what type of analysis the pilot study? Maybe you can list down here. For example, descriptive analysis. Okay. All right. Next, we go to the chapter 4 is about research analysis. Why we need to record of this? Of course, when you read the one article, they also highlight their result. So you need to record the result. Okay. So that's why I list a few things here from the research analysis. We start with the research real data. So what is actually analysis from the real data using what software? For example, here SPSS. What analysis type strategy are using the correlation, multiple regression? So you there in this article also interpret research analysis? Yes. What the finding? So H1 partial acceptable, H1 rejected, H1 acceptable, H rejected. Jadi you need to summarize, very simple summarize to show their finding. So they have mentioned about just finding justification. If yes, please put Y here. Okay, this part of research analysis, they have the need to mention nowadays they're using the software, what the software that using for the analyze the data. So you need to mention what type analysis strategy. So they're using the analysis interpretation. So about the finding, so finding justification also. Okay, this is part of the research analysis. Okay. And then discussion and conclusion. So we start the research discussion objective. This is really important. So panel will ask you why actually your discussion is not structured. In order to make right in the discussion and conclusion chapter, you need follow a structure. How do the structure? Explain research discussion through objective by objective. Okay, explain for objective number 1 first. What's a discussion can we conclude for the research objective number 1? Then next go for the chapter 2. Objective number 2. Next objective number 3. So about the contribution also TAMP. So you need to explain such like for the chapter 1 for the significant, the same actually. So what is actually their writing in order to explaining on the research contribution on theoretical, methodological, empirical, and practical. So this one I think should be TM first, TMEP, theoretical, methodological, empirical, and practical. Okay. So for the research limitation, if no, just list no. Kalau yes, you just mention yes. So this is really important. 5.5 is really important suggestion. You all the student, when you read the article journals, please, the most important section is the conclusion section, specifically in area suggestion. Because from the suggestion previous study is important to us in order to highlight why you want to study in this topic, because previous study suggests next researcher should be more deeper, more specifically, more investigate in this matter. So that a very good reason whatever you do in your research should be have support from the previous study, in which place, in which area, specifically the best area in the conclusion, in the section or the specific paragraph on the suggestion matters. Okay. Okay, the last one is section on the appendix. So from the article also they also attach the appendix. For example, attach the interview question, questionnaire question and item. So if yes, say yes. So reference you should be know that they follow the APA. That you need to check APA Chicago, Harvard, something like that. So anything uniqueness you want to highlight, you can list here. If no, you say no. Okay, last one is about the remark. Okay. I know that this is quite early, but this is really important. Once you're done to read one article journal, please key in and record all this matter. So easy to us. If you just list one, no function, because you if you done record, you straight away once you complete read one article, straight away key in and record. Okay. That don't wait until you done 10 article, then you key in after that. Please routinely at least read one journal per day, and then you need to record also one day one record, one article, meaning that. So let's say have 1 month, let's say you have 30 article you have done to record, and easy to now, for example, in this, for example, so you not discuss about for the issues. So from the 30 articles, so they have many issue actually. So you should be know that which issue is most related in your topics. So that's why we need to have we call that database, that at least we try read a lot of article to make a conclude. So from the conclude, you can be know that that our research objective is good or not. Somehow that maybe our objective is actually repeating all the research, do the same thing. So at least you have one research objective become difference, become extensions and something like that. Okay. You have mentioned that only the research article have only all chapters and section. So what if we make citation from the easy for essay or book? So how we should be feel at this section? Okay, Moin. Yes, if you read a book, so they have many what you call that chapters, and chapter 1 from the TOC they have many topic. Okay, you can also use this template for the books also, but please specifics. Somehow from the one book, not all chapters relevant in your research topic. Just pick up a certain thing you want to highlight. Maybe from the book, maybe not key in many things. Maybe you need to write no, because in that book not provided specifically. Okay, but I just to recommend and suggestion, please read the empirical study. If you read a book is just general. You need to find that the materials and document from article journal, from proceeding, from books is actually based on the research output. Not just, okay, just because I'm the lecturer, I just write a books. I explain about A, about B, about C, about D, because on my knowledge. That's the book we not call the empirical books, because this book is not based on research. Research meaning that you have introduction, I did have literature review, you collect the data, you analyze the data, you get the result that we call the empirical. So no problem. From this Excel, you can key in from all the material, but I just to advise and recommend is really good material you key in is based on the research output. Okay. But if you list scan everything in from the books, that we call that this template is not structured and practical, because you just key in whatever have done in that book. You should be selective, that you just record that is the relevant in your research objective. So I just record this method because it's relevant for objective number 1. It's okay. Please record all the facts. So this method also related with my objective number 2. It's okay. If there's actually your article you read, they are discussing many things, but you actually not record in this article because it's not specifically your research objective. That this one also you need to be selective also. Somehow that maybe you download the article, you think that this article is much relevant to our research, but suddenly after you done to read until the conclusion, that the result is not similar. But you just you think that waste time. You think that waste time, also you key in also that article, but you know that this article is not relevant. Okay, to be rational, you just key in the article with the relevant in your subject matter on your topic only. Don't make it whatever you read the article journal that you key in. But somehow you as a researcher, you need to make a decision. So this article relevant or not. In my case, it's actually most the article have the soft copy. I'm just only print the article it actually must relevant. If I read the article, I need to have the coding. Have the coding meaning that I put if the coding A meaning that okay, this article is relevant with our topics. So that I will know that the empirical article that they support my literature, for example. Could you please explain to us difference of the significance of practical and empirical? Okay, practical is actually, so for example, okay, what is your output on your practicals? Let's say your practical, for example, you come up with models. So practical, which body, party, industry, or person that will be beneficial of your practical. So this practical, for example, this model can apply for the industry, for the governments, for society, for next researcher, that we call that practical. So this research can be beneficial to the governments, to education, to industry with the next researcher, that we call that practicals. Empirical is based on your research objective. Okay. What's the significance from finding objective number 1? What the significance or contribution from the finding from objective number 2? So based on objective, let's say you have the 4 objective, all the result and significance of the study is something like prediction, but because we don't we don't complete the data, we just to do the expectation, because significant is expectation. Significantly, okay, from this objective number 1, what exactly the finding can be received? So that you need to highlight the empirical is based on the significance specifically on your your objective. That the difference. Okay, what the difference? I just okay, if we talk about 4 theoretical, so theoretical is about the knowledge, your chapter 2 from your thesis, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter, what is actually the theoreticals about the what we call the knowledge you want to, all the, if the people read your thesis, what is the knowledge they are receive, they are get, that we call that theoretical. Methods, because this research, maybe this research you how about you strategize data collection, how to you strategize to make sure that data can get much bigger, how to analyze this, all the chapter 4 and chapter 3 and chapter 4, that we call that contribution for methodology. Methodology, actually they are actually, the long word is methodology and analysis. Okay, theoretical is can based on the chapter 2. We can say like this lah. For the methodological, cover on the methodological analysis. Empirical, cover on the result and the finding. And practical, which the people can get beneficial from your research. That the difference between these four. Okay. This method also already explained in video in the week 1. So that's why I mentioned with you before we start this master list, you should be refer to all video previously. Okay. Anything questions? Anything question, please? So we have done cover in this master list. Please listen again from this video. Maybe take time to clear all the single things in the database. Okay, but in the methodology, we start cover for the next week. We start with the topic for the research design. So we the couple of week we focus on more on methodology. So here in the section methodology, we cover detail after this. Okay, start from the next weeks. So sorry, this one. Okay, so we start with 3.2 research design, but I try to at least entering and explaining for the research philosophy and approach and research strategy. But research strategy maybe need a few weeks to cover on research strategy. But the most important thing, maybe I need to start with the research design and research philosophy and approach. This depends, but for me, research design also the biggest topics. Okay. Okay. Before we done for this week's, I still open if you have any question. And this template also one of your assignment, okay? I forget already. I think that you need at least read 10 articles, then make it summarize. And don't worry if this article not mentioned, for example, not mentioned on sampling technique, just write N maksudnya no, not reporting, this article not reporting on the sampling size. Just say no. If there's have facts or statistic methods on that single item that you need to write specifically sampling size 250, sampling size or number, you need to list all the from the articles. So if you ask me how many articles you become to expert, so maybe you think you need to the consistent. So maybe for example, the first case, the first article you want to summarize, maybe you take 1 or 2 hours because the first experience. But after you do consistently, after 3 months, every day you do record, I believe that maybe 10 minutes only. And after you are familiar, after you repeating, do a same thing every days, you can more easier. You make it more faster and more understanding lah. But basically learning process. Okay, the first experience, I'm also the first experience to key in one, for example, key in for the number 1 article, maybe take 1 or 2 hours. In the first experience, but after that you can improve daily by daily. Okay. I'm not sure the question. What's meaning link kena include sekali? Ini apa untuk apa boleh beritahu saya tak? So I'm not clear the question link kena include sekali ni. How many assignment we have in BRM? Okay, Moin. So I think that you need to check, and because I think that I have give you very clear directions in folders. If you are referred folders and then you follow the week 1 and week 2 and week 3, you should be know that how many with the assignments. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Exactly. It was quite clear, sir. When I just opened one of the documents now, so there were some gray lines. If we refer to the chapter number 1 outline, so there were some gray lines right in front of the introduction. So what does it mean? We shouldn't write the introduction. Like the line was made gray in a gray color, and all other contents were put.
You already opened the template.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
Yeah, just follow whatever the template I give you. So
yeah,
just fill in that the what we call that the outline for chapter 1. So outline chapter 1, we have the introduction, research backgrounds. So we have the problem statement, objective, research question, that this is a very simple template. It's very easy. You just fill in whatever based on your progress research and your thesis.
Yeah, exactly, sir. Sir, the same thing that I'm asking, sir. Sir, there's some like when we just open the outline for the chapter 1, like if I tell you now, there are some contents, like it's starting from 1.1 introduction.
Yep.
It is made the tab is made in a gray color. For all other things like research background,
because
statement.
you should be know that introduction, you have the subsection. No, you think that in chapter 1 introduction have the subsection? No, is it? Research background, maybe you have the subsection. For example, research
What does it
background
mean?
is
What
1.2,
does it mean
maybe
by
you
it?
have 1.2.1.
I'm not getting it, sir. Sorry.
Sorry, okay. You have experience do some research?
Yeah, I was doing thesis for my bachelor's degree.
It's good. All right. So we discuss about outline. Okay, we discuss about outline.
Yeah.
So, okay, we know that 1.0, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, we have 1.31, 1.32, that you're familiar on the section and subsections?
Yes, sir.
Okay, introduction. You think that introduction have subsection?
I'm not, it's not clear for me, sir. to be
Chapter
honest.
1, we start
Yeah.
with the 1.1 introduction.
Sir, I'm asking the same thing from you, sir.
That my question with you. In
Yeah.
chapter 1, 1.1 is introduction. My question,
Sir,
okay, in introduction, you have the subsection?
no, sir.
No, sir, no need. That's why I make it the gray color. That's the
Okay.
reason. Okay, research background. So that's why in the first class, I teach you about database thesis. You need download many theses so that you understand. So that's why I need to you investigate. When you have download many theses, you should be know that, oh, mostly research from the library, UPSI also, you have to do the same thing. But so
Yes,
basically, as a research PhD and research master, mostly introduction, just write only one page, only 2 paragraphs, no need to subsection. But
yes,
somehow you looking that, oh, for the research background, difference. So
yes,
somehow the research, they have the subsection. They have research background in 1.2, but suddenly they come up with 1.2.1 subsection. So
yes,
in this template, okay, you can detail on your 1.2.1.
yes,
So
sir. I got it, sir. Now I
okay,
got it.
from the template,
Thank you, sir.
okay, it's not compulsory. You need to follow everything. You can improvise, you can edit. It depend on your research. I just give the outline to help us. Okay, let's say you want to discuss with supervisor from this class. You have done your outline chapter 1. You have done your outline chapter 2. You have learned, you have done outline in chapter 3. So because I believe that you are actually semester 1s. Okay, that's why I give you the template to easy way. If you're looking the numbers, the assignment looking that many assignment, but the assignment is quite easy. Or
Yes,
just
sir.
outline, something like that. Okay.
I think, sir, it is all about the proposal. So like if we are working in a proper way on a quality proposal, so the remaining things, like all the given outlines, are so easy to fill in. I think so.
Yeah. It's okay if you have need to give suggestion, you want to give some feedback, you want to improvise. It's all no problem. We open for the discussion. Okay.
Yeah, yes, sir. We are here for learning, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Your
Yeah,
question
yes,
and your
yes,
feedback.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, the question is untuk template master list ni, it's okay, and this question maybe for submission. So the first thing first, you can download this template, and then please make exercise and try to at least read one article and key in all the important and facts material. I already give the information for the submission. You need to emails. So we have the specific email for BRM. Okay, so from the Excel, you just send the soft copy. If you think that about the submission, all the submission, I give already information from the folder for the assignment. So you need to send to the specific email, BRM. So we have the email specific on BRM. All the submission we need to send. You need to compile everything. If you done all the assignment, you just do emails. Okay. So the link ni maybe whatever they, because kalau boleh tanya kat sini, boleh tanya direct je, boleh saya faham. Adakah nak bagi link untuk dapatkan full article ke macam mana? Tu saya tak jelas kat sini.
Ya. Maksudnya full article.
Full article. Okay, this open if because I just to check your template, and but if you want to make efforts to at least saya boleh tengok lah full article tu kan, you just give the link. Boleh, no problem.
Okay, alright.
Yeah. It's up to you lah, based on your effort lah. Kalau nak bagi full tag pun tak ada masalah kan, dari PDF apa semua kan, nak share PDF pun boleh. So if you want to give the link to get the full text pun boleh, no, tak ada masalah. Tak bagi pun tak apa. But for me the most important thing, you should know that how to key in all this material. And if you not clear, please ask. Okay. Okay, this one I just Najib equip. Ini basically first sign direct. And I type terus lah science direct. Ini the best lah for management. Emerald, Taylor and Francis, Springer, in the science, Sage, Willy. Basic. Semua ni semua dekat library. All this database online, this is the best one. Sign direct, Amaro, Taylor and Francis, Springer, in the science, Sage and Willy. Ni dia the most lah. Ini this organization is publisher sebelum Malaysia Merdeka. Dia since 1940 dia dah establish. Yes, I will give all the class. We have the recording also, no problem. Tapi maybe take time for the recording. So after I have done recording, I will be upload. Then after we'll upload, I share the link. No problem. All the class. That's why I mentioned with you, time to time. Maybe I'm late little bit, but you please check our Google Drive link BRM. So I will be update specific weeks. I have the folder week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. So if you missing in the group WhatsApp, please open the Google Drive. Then you can see the link. You go to the week 4, then you can see the link for our purpose online today. No problem. Inshallah. It's okay. No problem. I know that some lah. Maybe you have certain thing you want to do something, dengar sekejap, maybe line is not clear, coverage is not clear. That's why I prepare for also all the class should be have recording, so you can listen again for this video. Okay, thank you, Arif. So I think no question. Everything we are citing, we need to record in this master list. Yes, should be. That's a good question. Yes, Mai. Of course. Okay, for example lah. Okay, I'm not the good researcher in terms of sorting all the journal. Because we take time and 3 years in order to complete the one thesis. When I read the one article, sometimes I'm missing that article. If after 3 months I need that article, but I'm missing which place I should be saved that the article. So that's why when I've done read one article, so I need to record. Another way, the main question is something like whatever I'm cite the authors. If let's say the process should be you record first. After you record, next you go to the citation. So another understanding, if you cite hundreds scholar, meaning that you have record 100 article also. That another you try to apply an understanding that, meaning that all the citation you should be record. The answer is yes. So let's say after this, After this, you complete your PhD, you complete your master. Maybe you need to work in the industry. Maybe you appoint as a lecturer. This template, another's what we call that you need to keep yourself as a database. After 4 years, after 5 years, no need to read the article journal. Just refer the database. You can memorize that. Oh, 5 years back, I have read one article journal. Based on this Excel, I can remember that the most important fact without to read again that article journal. All right, okay. That's become the database. Okay. Okay, I think just enough for today. Thank you very much for your commitment, for your participation. So I'm really sorry because I'm not open my notebook during 2 weeks. So that's why my PC is not synchronized with the Zoom. So they advised to me to restart my PC. So maybe take 45 minutes to settle off this error systems. It's not error system like based on the updatings. Okay, I'm sorry on that. The reason of the problem on the recognition between system and the Zoom platform. Plus maybe my PC's some updating need to upgradings. Okay, but the most important thing we achieve our objective today. At least we learn about the database that we call that literature review matrix. So we go through all the section important thing, and we record about the important information about the profile, how to coding the articles, which the part important in the chapter 1 you need to record, for chapter 2 literature review, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5 plus appendix also. That I hope that this template, you can use this template, you can modify, you can edit, you can improvise, no problem. But this is just only the basics. But somehow I believe that this template can much improvise by certain thing of research. Maybe A do research like this one, maybe they make it simple. Some research do the mixed method, maybe you need add on, no problem. So please use this template. The most important thing, not fulfill me. You not fulfill I'm your lecturer, but you need use this template to assist us in order to complete your thesis. That's the reason. Don't just do this part because you want to pass this subject. No, the most important thing, I apply, I modify, I improvise the template in order to make sure I can write my thesis more structured and more practical way and reasonable and valuable, because this database become your valuable asset. These are the tools. So maybe you go to the outstation, don't bring your journal and book. Just bring your Excel. You can sit in coffee house. You can sit. You can travel in any place. Just open the Excel, then you can write in one paragraph, because all the fact you have done record. Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum and good night, everyone. Thank you for your commitment and your participation. Okay, thank you very much again.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Sorry lah lewat malam kita. Okay, terima kasih semua.
Okay.